Alright, so welcome to another video of Salesforce Bytes, and in this video we'll specifically talk about how do you configure Lightning record pages and how they are different from page layouts, right? We've already talked about page layouts in a separate video. You can probably take a look at that in my admin curriculum, but let's talk about record pages today, right? So what's a record page? First of all, let me take you to Salesforce and let's simply open the account tab, right? And under account list view, let's open any record that I currently have, which is Salesforce Makes Sense, and this is the account record. Now what you see right here, a record is open, right? And this entire page is basically nothing but a record page. Cool. So this is called a record page, and all of these components that you see, every attribute of it is part of the record page, right? We already know that, the detail section and the related section can be configured by the page layout. Cool. Let's take a look at what I have on the keynote. Lightning record pages are record specific pages, right? So record specific pages, more like the customized version of an object's record page, right? You might have the same version of the record page everywhere, but when you start customizing it, you make record specific pages for specific objects, and these pages are nothing but Lightning record pages. Right? Now, how are they different from page layouts? Page layouts allow you to modify fields and their positions, right? So if I take you back to the screen, what you can do via page layouts is maybe move this SIC code down below, maybe add a section here, or you could even go to the related tab, add some related list things here, or you can remove the contacts in the opportunity related list, right? That's what you probably do with the page layouts. You can probably also monitor and govern which buttons would come up on the highlights panel. Even that can be done by the page layout, right? But what does Lightning record page do? It lets you drag and drop, add or remove the Lightning components on the page. So something like, if I tell you I don't want the follow button here, or maybe I tell you that I want this particular activity chatter to go away entirely, and I want the related section list to come here. I want the news tab on the first position. I want the related in the third position. I want the details tab to open by default. All of these kind of things, these kind of configurations cannot be done on the page layout. They are done on the record page, right? So Lightning record pages can be assigned on 3 levels. One is the org level, the other one is the application level, and the third one is on the profile level using application and record type mapping. Cool. So let's take a look at how do we edit a record page. So right now I am on the account record page. I simply can go to the setup icon and click on the edit page here, and this will open up the Lightning builder, app builder, and it will let me edit this particular page. Cool. So let's click on edit. So this opens up the Lightning app builder, right? If you notice, this is the Lightning app builder. The Lightning app builder is specifically for configuring record pages, right? You can configure any application pages that you want, and all the pages are listed down here. All of your pages are here. We have not created any Lightning pages for now. This is a very new org, so you don't see anything here. Cool. And right now, where are we at? We are on the account record page. That's why the name says account record page. And I have not clicked anything here. So that's why you see the page information here, label, developer name, what's the page type, which object, and what's the template, right? So you see, you can change the template also. You can have a header with a full width section, or you can have 2 sidebars, one on the left and one on the right. So all of that things can be done through the description template, and then you have the description field wherein you can add a description about this particular page. Cool. And you can even change your label page name and your developer name. That can also be done. Cool. So now if you notice on the extreme left side you have all the components that you can drag and drop. So basically this was not available in page layouts, right? You could not drag and drop any component on the page. You would just be able to modify the position of fields and the related list sections, right? Now here, if you notice, see, I can click on the detail section. I can take a look at this particular section, right? If I want to set a component visibility, I can do that. I can click on this section and I can get rid of it entirely. I can click on the highlights panel section and I can say that, show me or hide the unfollow button, show the collapsed options on the desktop. I just want to see 2 buttons and everything else in the drop down. All of this can be done, right? I can take a look at what is the compact layout assigned. If I want to change it, I can do that. I can take a look at which page layout is assigned and what is currently previewed. I can even do that. I can even add any kind of visibility filters on my components, right? If I click on this section right here, I see related, details, and news tab, right? And I click when I click on this section as a whole, I see that these are the 3 tabs. What I can do is I can change the default tab. So if I say details, this would be the default tab that opens up. If I want to move the positions, I can do something like this, right? All of this was not available on page layouts. This is specifically record page customization. Cool. So you can take a look at how do you modify record pages, and all of it can be done. It's pretty straightforward, nothing fancy here, right? If you want to take a look at how this would look on a tablet or a phone, you can even do that. And you can even take a look at the compact view, or you can take a look at the 100% view. Cool. And if you want to, just take a refresh, or, just see what's the latest change, you can click on the refresh icon. All right. And here you have some icons like undo and redo, which is available almost everywhere. Then you have cut option. So you can cut and paste, similar to how you do things on Word or Excel or spreadsheet. And then you have the copy option also. So let's say you want to copy this section and paste it somewhere, or you want to remove it from here. So you can say cut and paste, right? If you want to add anything, let's say we want to add something. So let's see if I want to add the path component. So I'll just take that and I'll just say drop here. So the path component will come here and I just have to configure it. Right? So I'll just configure my path and it will start showing up here. Cool. Let's say I don't want it, I can click on the delete button. All right. So that's how you normally configure your record pages. Now let's try to see what do we have next. So you can add both standard as well as custom lightning components. So if you notice what do we have here, these are all the standard components that are available. Custom, nothing is available because nothing has been created. So if you create a lightning component and expose it into for record pages, you can get the component listed here and you can drag and drop the component also. You can do that. Right now we have standard options, and the idea behind this is that even custom components can also be dragged and dropped on the record page. Cool. The visibility of the sections can be configured based on various parameters. Now let's say this is the section, right? I want to add a filter. So I just want to show this to specific people. So I can say add filter, and I'll say if account name contains this particular value. Let's say if the account name contains, or let me get a better thing, if the revenue, maybe annual revenue is greater than $50,000, right? If that's the case, only then show this section. I'm just giving you a random example, right? That's on the record field. You can take a look at the device also. So if it is if the form factor is equal to, I don't see any options here, but let me try something. Form factor equals, yeah, it's coming up now. So I can say if it is a phone, only then show it, or if it is a desktop, then show it, right? And what's on the advanced, I can select a field based on all the relationships available. So I can take a look at the current record, or I can also take a look at the user. So for example, I want to show a particular section only if the user's profile is system administrator. So I can say user, I can say profile, and I can say name, and this should be equal to system administrator. What will this filter do? This will ensure that whenever the system administrator logs in, only he or she sees the activity chatter section. Cool. So that's how you can add a component visibility. What's next? You can also enable dynamic forms on your record page, and this is something we have already discussed. So you can take a look at the dynamic forms video, and there you will understand how you can enable dynamic forms and you can use them. So dynamic forms, let's say I click here and I'll see that upgrade to dynamic action. So what you can do here is you can convert your entire page from the top level to the field level into dynamic actions, and you can basically govern how each field will be showing up. So for example, right now if you notice, when I hover over this section, this comes as a whole, right? When I upgrade dynamic actions, what will happen is each of these fields will become editable for me, and I can add visibility filters on each of the fields. That brings more dynamic behavior on my page layout, right? So I can say that whenever parent account is not null, only then show it. I can do that if I have dynamic forms enabled. Cool. So for that you need to upgrade your page into a dynamic to accept dynamic forms. Cool. What's the next thing? The performance of the lightning page depends on the number of fields, visible components, related lists with dependencies to other objects, right? So lightning page takes some time to load. So whenever you say refresh, this takes time to load, right? And whenever this loads, what all are important here? The number of fields that you have on the section, the number of related list components, and the number of visible components. So the more the fields, the components, and related list, the more time will it take to load your dynamic your lightning page, right? And lastly, what you can do is you can use this analyze button to take a look at your current performance of your page. So you see, when I say analyze, it says it is general, predicted page load time is 2.4 seconds. So you can take a look at the page performance. It says good, and it is like around 2.5 seconds. 0 to 3 is good, which is good for us. So it says predicted page load is 2.4 seconds, right? And it can give us an assessment that the highlights panel is taking 45 milliseconds, the record detail is taking 36 milliseconds, and the activities panel, this panel, is taking 24 milliseconds, right? Now for example, if you add a visibility filter here, then this will only run for specific profiles. That will add on to your performance, and it will improve your performance because you're not showing it to everyone, right? So it will do that, and you can do the analysis for desktop, phone, and tablet separately, because you might have different UI for each of them, right? So you might have to work accordingly based on the feedback that you get. So if you see you have high impact components in case of a tablet, so you can take a look at the feedback and you can improve your page layout if you want to ensure that the speed is also optimized. Cool. And then down below you also see that there are tips that come up. So it is telling us to upgrade to dynamic actions, which is fine, which we can do. And then it is asking us to take a look at the page performance by clicking the analyze button, which we just did, right? So we are good here. So once you're done with all of your changes, what you will do is you'll click on the save button, right? The very first time that you click on the save button is the only time it will ask you to activate it, because then once you have activated it, you don't need to activate it every time, but you might want to change the assignment, so you can do that. So if you notice, the activation button is not enabled right now. When I click on the save button, it brings me the page that the page is saved, but do you want to activate it? And when I say activate, it brings in the options that I have to choose and how do I want to assign my page. So right now I want to activate the account record page, right? And like we discussed, we have 3 levels of assigning our lightning record page. It can be on the org level, it can be on the application level, and it can be on the profile level using a mapping, right? So what's the meaning of org level? It says assign as org default. This means irrespective of any profile that you're logged in, irrespective of any application you are in, you will see the account record page everywhere, this record page. If that's the case with your requirement, you can say assign as org default. Cool. What's the second layer? The second layer is app default. App default means if you are in an org, let's say you are working with the sales application and you want to take a look at this particular record page, then you will say assign as app default. I want to only assign it for the sales application, right? And let's say you want to see it for both sales and service. You can do that by saying sales and service, right? Which means only for the sales application and the service application, you will see this account record page. For the others, if you have something else configured, that would show up. Cool. What's the third layer? The third layer is a combination of app, record type, and profile. So when I click on this, it tells me assign it to the app. So I'll say I want to see it for an application sales. I want to see it for both desktop and phone. See, this is also available. And then I can say the record type, and last I can choose which profile. So for example, I want to see it for my hospital community users and my hospital portal users, right? So, or rather, let's not choose community users. We can say identity user, and let's say the read-only user and the standard platform user, right? So I am configuring this. Let's click on next. Now, if you need to review it, you see for both desktop and phone, the current page for account records would be account record page. It will not be the default page that the system provides, and it would be for the record type master under the application sales for identity user, read-only user, and the standard platform user. That is what the mapping is all about, right? So you see how you have been able to layer your mapping and show specific kind of record pages to specific profiles. And now where does this come in handy? This comes in handy when you have different record pages, different kind of views available for different personas in a single application, right? Different applications, like you can assign different pages. That's simple by assign as app default. But in a single application, let's say the sales application, you might have a requirement wherein you have 10 record types and then you have 20 profiles. So for each record type and each profile combination, you want to show a different view to the user, right? That's when this comes in handy, and that's when you would go and choose the third option, which is a mapping of 3 things. What are the 3 things? The application, the record type, and the profiles, right? There's one more thing internally, that is that form factor that tells you that phone or desktop or both. So that's also there. So you can do that as well. Cool. So once you are satisfied with your assignment, you can click on save and your account record page will be activated. All right. So that is how basically you will be configuring, creating your record pages. And once your record pages are created, you can also take a look at them by not just by clicking on the edit page. You can also go to setup. So if I go to setup, I can directly jump into the Lightning app builder from here. So this is the user, under the user interface, I can go to Lightning app builder, and this will open up and show me all my pages. I'm not sure if I have a page. Yeah, I do have a page right now because I saved it, and you see that we see the account record page, and I can open it from here. This will again open the Lightning app builder. If I just want to edit it, it will open the app builder. Cool. Great. I'll see you in the next lecture. Till then, happy learning.